back. And so we're going to talk today a little bit about the questions you ask in the first sessions to get aha with the clients. Now, I am so sold on this being interactive because we can learn from each other. I mean, I love that more than anything. So I'm going to kind of lead you guys in, what I do, but I know we all do it differently. What I learned, and this is the premise of everything I do now, is that life gets to be easy, and we tend to make it hard. We tend to, think it has to be perfect or a certain way. And I know when I first started, I was all about, I have to do hypnosis in the first session, and I have to get it done in a session or two because I was worried about how much it was costing and if people would pay me for a 6-session package and all of that. And yet, after Josh died and I realized that it's not worth making things hard, right? So let's just make it easy and realize that our clients don't know what we're doing, so we might as well just be in service to them, find out what it is that they want, and then think about what it is that we have in our toolbox to help them for what is going to be best for them. And actually, we were just talking a little bit, Cheryl and I were just talking a little bit about that. And so you guys know, I just wanted to tell you a little bit who I am. I'm Karen Bird. I have a practice in Burlington, Wisconsin. I used to have a practice, an office, but after COVID, I noticed that most of my clients were online anyways, and I was seeing clients all over the country for the athletes that I was seeing and then referrals, so I just went virtual, and it was a bit of a transition, but I love it now, and it makes my life a lot easier, and the clients are fine once you convince them that, that it's the same online than it is in your office. Now, I personally like people, and I like to be in the company of people, so I kind of prefer that myself, but hypnosis works the same whether it's online or not. I also have my Attitude of a Champion program. So we're going to talk, in the 3 o'clock class, a little bit about the discovery call script that I use when a client calls and asks about hypnosis and how I help them or how I can help them, whether it's an athlete or a general client. And so if you're interested in that, I can pass this around. There's a QR code here to get that free script. And this is a QR code for a workshop that I think this is the Attitude of a Champion program, if you're interested in seeing that and working with athletes. I do have a workshop coming up also on June 6th, and it's a 2-hour free workshop about supercharging your hypnosis business and how to get more clients and mostly working with athletes and how do you work with athletes and how do you get them and why they're great clients to work with because they bring in other clients, they're great referrers, and they're willing to pay anything to get the confidence to be better athletes. So that's what the workshop is on June 6th. But what we're going to talk about today is the questions that I ask. So I'm first going to start with questions that I ask athletes. Do any of you work with athletes? You do? Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you guys work with athletes at all? Well, you might when they come in. So I'll give you a little bit on what do I do with athletes, and then I'm going to talk about the questions I ask for a general client. And if you guys have paper and pen, you're more than welcome to answer them for yourself as we move on, because it's sometimes interesting to get, what would I say if I was the client? So when I work with athletes, the first question I always ask, and I ask this with all clients actually, is if I could snap my fingers and you could be, feel, or have anything, what would that be? That kind of breaks the ice, and it's a little different than just saying, why are you here? What can I help you with? It's more, if I could, snap my fingers and you could be, feel, or have anything, what would that be? Now, sometimes they'll look at you blankly and you have to give them a little bit of it could be anything. You could say $1 million. You could say, I want to be happy. You could say, I want to be thinner. You could say, I want to stop smoking. You could say that I want to have a better relationship with my mom. You could say that I want to stop reliving this trauma that I've been living, right? So whatever it is, you tell me what it is. Pretend I could give you anything. I'm a genie. What are those 3 things? And that helps me start to formulate the affirmation statements, because with every client I have, I write self-statements and affirmation statements in that first session. That first session never ends without at least 5, sometimes up to 20 statements, positive present tense, about what it is they want to be. So how I say it is the future you, the future version of you, the best version of you that you would like to be. We're starting to create that plan. And then I tell them, what we're doing is right now you have pathways in your brain, and it happened based on experiences or something someone told you in your life. We create a pathway. And then that pathway gets reinforced. It becomes a road, a highway, and a superhighway. And so with hypnosis, we can figure out what it is you want instead of what you don't want, because a lot of times that pathway, if you're here with me today, it's because something's happening in your life that you don't want or you don't want to be. So we're going to put a roadblock in that way of thinking. Today, we're going to start creating the pathways by creating who it is, the version of you that you want to be. And then we're going to make that pathway a road, a highway, and a superhighway. And so that's exactly how we're going to, go through. And then by the time we're done working together, that's who you will be. So when we're working with athletes, it's, that same question, and they'll say, I want to be more confident. I want to play as well as I practice. I'm worried about this injury that's not an injury anymore, but I won't play as hard because I'm worried about re-injuring it. So they'll tell me a little bit about what it is that they want to work on. And then I simply start asking them questions about goals, because for an athlete, it's a little different than other clients. It's a lot of mental training that I teach them, which is what I teach in the Attitude of a Champion program. Is these are the questions you ask. You're basically teaching them mental training, mental toughness, from like psychology manuals. I have a manual from the Olympic Training Center that my son attended when he went there. I have like sports psychology journals, and the program was created off of that. And it's a mental training program with the added benefit of hypnosis. So the questions I start to ask are things like, when is the last time you were in the zone? Sometimes if they're younger, I'll have to say, what does it feel like to be in the zone? What does it mean to be in the zone? And then I'll say, oh yeah, you're right. It's that optimal perfection, that optimal emotional state when everything else doesn't matter and you're just in the zone. And so we'll talk a little bit about that. And then I'll say, when is the last time you were in the zone? And they'll say, oh, at the competition in Tennessee last year. And then I'll ask them, what did that feel like? What were you wearing? And bring them back there in their mind, because then they see it. And 9 times out of 10, they'll have a smile on their face when they're telling me this. And so I do point that out, and I say, that was a great place to be, wasn't it? Like, I see the smile on your face. You love to be there. And they say, yes. So this is the state that we're going to create every time you step on the field or step into the game, that emotional state, by different things that we do in our training together. So the first question is, when's the last time you were in the zone? And then the question is, when do you want to get in the zone? So when do you want to feel that way? When you step in the gym, when you step on the field, when you're practicing? You tell me, because we're going to solidify that in your mind, that you feel this confident the second you do this. So I always like them to tell me, because obviously when they come up with it, it's more effective. And then we talk about goals. What are your short-term goals and your long-term goals? I always ask them, and I do this with my other clients too, and when I get to it, I'll ask you guys this question is, on a scale from 1 to 5, 5 being super confident, how confident are you? And sometimes they'll come to me like before a big competition. So let's say they have nationals coming up. How confident are you that you will win nationals? Or whatever their goals are. Maybe they say get on the podium. So I'll make sure I use that, right? How confident are you that you will get on the podium at nationals? And they'll say, I'll say 1 to 5, and sometimes they say 3, sometimes they say 4. And then my next question is what's in between that? What's in between that 3 or 4 and a 5? Because that's where we get to go with it. And they'll say, well, I don't know, it could be I'm not confident enough, or if I was just more aggressive, or if I kept my head down. So, okay, great, that's a statement, right? So now I know that's how we're gonna get there. And then I also use that because in my sessions, I'll do a control room technique with them where they get into their mind and they see the control room. And this control is labeled confidence, right? So we're just dialing their confidence up. And I'll use that in one of their sessions. So I always like to know where they're at. And I ask that in every session. Where are they from a scale from this to this? It typically goes up with each session, which is beautiful because that's my monitor too of how they are doing, right? All right, question, what do coaches and parents say that you should do more of? What do you hear them yelling at you about? That if you just did this, you'd be better. What are the techniques that you think you could improve that would make you a better athlete? And so we'll write quite a few statements on that. Sometimes swimmers will say, if I could take 3 strokes before I breathe after a dive. So really technical stuff, right? And with wrestlers, it can be more aggressive or get the first takedown or tie up quicker or tough on top. So what is it that would make you better? What is it that you know you could improve on? And then we write an affirmation statement with that. We always talk about what do you do when you lose composure? You're in the middle of a match, the middle of a game, and you find yourself like, I already lost and now I'm quitting, right? Because that happens to a lot of athletes. So we can now set a reset, a physical reset, that when you feel that, and it's being aware of it, so I'm going to teach you how to be aware of it, then you can slap your leg, a wrestler, touch the mat, you can fix your headgear, you can change your goggles up, you can pull up your socks, pull up your knee pad, you tell me, and then one of their affirmation statements is, when I pull up my knee pad, I say to myself, I've got this, I get back in the zone, so whatever it is that they choose, but now they have their reset, and it helps them to reset, refocus, if anything happens in the middle of a match. We always choose a power word. So I say to them, think of a really great athlete or an Olympian or even someone on your team that is really, really good. And think about how you would describe them using one word. So a power word like incredible, unbeatable, amazing, phenomenal, fierce, determined, motivated, confident. What word would you describe them? And then that gets to be your power word. Now, when we do your hypnosis, we're going to take your perfect visualization of your perfect game, and we're going to anchor it to that word. And every time you say that word, that visualization pops back in the blueprint of your mind. So we always choose the power word, and then we write a contract. So based on these statements, with all of my clients, I write a contract. And I learned this in my leadership course, and it is super powerful. So you guys get to write a contract too. And the contract is, I am and it's blank, blank, blank. Now, whatever you call yourself, you can be a woman, a man, a leader, a hypnotist, an entrepreneur, an athlete. So the contract statement is, I am a blank, 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 and then whatever you guys would end it with. I'm going to have you share it in a minute. And then those three things, those are adjectives, but it's not who you believe you are. So if you are loving, it is not loving. If you are generous, the word's not generous. If you're an empath, the word's not empath. If you're smart, the word's not smart. If you believe you're not smart, then it gets to be smart. So these three words are three words that you want to be, feel, or have. So when it comes to an athlete or a client, I will literally go through their statements that we just wrote, pick out the adjectives that they said. Sometimes it's happy, depressed, or not depressed, happy, confident, joyful, aggressive, relentless, like those words that we came up with. And those get to be the three. So I'm going to give you guys a minute to come up with three words. I'll give you my example. And I chose this in leadership, and our exercise during this leadership was, we stood in the middle of a circle of about 10 people around us, and they would yell at us, who are you, who are you, who are you, who are you, to get us out of our conscious mind. And we would start yelling all these words like, I am smart, I am confident, I am connected, so we'd say all these words, and then the word that you end up saying the most is who you get to be. So mine ended up being, I'm a powerful, loving, giving leader. Now, if I would have chose that in my conscious mind, I probably would have chose something different, but that's what I stick with because that's my contract. So I want you guys to write a contract about these three words that you get to be, the version of you that you get to look in the mirror and tell yourself every single day. It could be confident, it could be successful, it could be generous, it could be understanding, it could be connected, it could be authentic, it could be inspiring. Now, my contract I came up with on the way down here was, I am a connected, inspiring, fun leader. And so I told that to myself many, many times over because I'm a supporter and I have a tendency to have a little controller in me. And so the promoter part of me, the like really fun, exciting part of me is not natural. I work at that because I would prefer to be in the back of the corner not making any noise. And I know that, so I switch my contract out to what is going to serve me in that certain situation. And so was my contract for this weekend. But I do always go back to my main contract. So you guys, I'm going to give you a minute to write what your three adjectives are. I am a blank, blank, blank. And then however you want to end that. It can be like expressive, joyful, happy, influential, understanding, successful, confident, authentic, vulnerable.
Just 3?
Yeah. You could do more. Here's the problem, though, is I'm going to have you look in the mirror every day and say it, but you should do more. You know, you could just rattle them all off, right?
I'm doing a few.
I love it. That's fine. Do you want to share yours, Cheryl?
I'm a connector.
I'm a connecter, yep.
I'm a healer.
Mm-hmm.
That's super hard for me to say that word.
I love it.
And I am authentic.
Okay. Hello. So I am a connecting, authentic, healing, or you could end with healer. You should end with healer if that's a hard one for you.
Okay.
So you could be a connected, meaning you connect with people, right? Connected.
Well, connected to the side.
Yep.
Both.
Yeah, connected.
Both.
Yep. Okay, so connected, authentic, and then one more, healer.
Connected, authentic.
Do you want to add one more?
Oh, do I want to add?
Yes.
One?
Hi, Sharon. Or you could just do 2, too. You don't have to do 3. Those 2 came up for you right away, so.
Connected, authentic, healer.
Okay, let's do that then.
Yeah.
So every time you look in the mirror, you say to yourself and you look at yourself and you say, I am a connected, authentic healer.
Thank you.
And that's who I am. And then what I tell my clients, and you guys can use this too, is when you start questioning yourself. You know, did I really do great with that client? Or anything that's self-doubt, remind yourself who you are. So the example is, I have this, my friend gave me this like framed piece of artwork, and it's so cute. It's this little girl, and her crown is crooked, and it says, when you're questioning who you are, straighten your crown. And so, like I tell my clients, is straighten your crown and remind yourself who you are. You are a connected, authentic healer, and yes, you are. So, remembering that.
Thank you.
All right, Karen.
Okay, well, I'm a confident, successful, influential healer.
Yes, you are. I love it.
Right.
It feels good, doesn't it? I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right.
So I
Claudia.
have 2. I'm a loving, trustworthy, sharing helper of helpers. I am a fun, confident, inspiring helper's helper.
Okay, the fun one, you're already fun. I would say, like, you don't have to say that because you already know that, right?
Okay.
But so choose one of those just because the one, it's going to be like your contract, like who you are, but it's the you want to step into. Like-
Yes. So this is like, because from last night, Connie channeled it. And
Yeah.
funny enough, my medium friend 2 years ago, she said, you're meant to be helping the helpers. It was really weird that Connie said
Yeah.
that last night. So, so I've got loving, trustworthy, sharing, as you've said, fun, scrap that one, confident, inspiring, loving,
Mm-hmm.
Sharing,
Mm-hmm.
inspiring.
I love it. So I'm a loving, sharing, inspiring healer of healers.
Help. Well, she said helper's helper,
Okay.
and they both did. It wasn't
Okay.
a healer, it was helper's
Then
helper.
that's what you are, a helper's helper.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
Cool,
Like,
yeah.
Both the mediums said that. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
So there you are.
So,
Awesome.
there you go. I am.
All right,
People
Leah.
remember that too, the helper's helper. So
Yeah.
those are good words because people will remember that too. Oh, a helper's helper. I get what she does. I
Mhm.
get what she is.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know, it's quite
Yeah.
interesting, isn't it?
I love that.
Helper's helper.
You can put that on your website.
Yeah, there you go.
Leah, what are you? Who are you?
Still figuring that out. No, I'm just kidding. I'm torn between 2 words, but I am an enthusiastic, authentic, and I put driven healer.
Mm-hmm.
But I was torn between driven and relentless.
Okay. What feels better for you? Top of your mind.
Probably driven.
Okay. So one more time. I am a.
Enthusiastic, authentic, driven healer.
Yes, you are. I love it. I'm enthusiastic, authentic, driven healer. Perfect. Awesome. All right. So now you guys have your contracts. And that's mostly what I do with athletes in the first session. But now we can go to the other clients. These are fun. So I want you guys to think of something that you might go to see a hypnotist, hypnotherapist, healer about, and then answer these questions in your own mind. something that you want to work on or change in your life. Okay? So the first question is the same one that I ask athletes, is if you could be, feel, or have anything, what would that be? So go ahead and just think of a few things. If you want, you can write them down. What would you be?
Say it again.
If you could be, feel, or have anything, what would that be? Sharon is a best-selling author. I already know that.
World renowned.
World renowned. Yes. Speaker and author.
Right.
Right. Yeah, so what you would like to be, feel, or have?
Silly question.
Mm-hmm.
How descriptive does it have to be?
Not super. So like when I ask my clients, I just want them to, this is how I explain it, is if I had a bucket in my hand and I just handed you the bucket and said, this is a puke bucket, tell me everything that's in your mind right now. And it comes slow, but it's funny. As they start to puke it out, they'll tell you more and more and more and more. And that gives me an idea of what is it that they want to work on. So I'll just take like notes as they're writing. So it can be anything. It doesn't have to be detailed. It can be like I said, it could be, a lot of them will say, I want to be happier, I want to feel more confident, or I want to have a better relationship with someone, or I want to be more focused in school. I want to get good grades. I want to feel calm. A lot of feel calms.
One of my things is like the successful entrepreneur, but I don't know what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not at a stage where I can visualize that
Yeah.
quite yet.
But that's okay, because
Okay.
your statement would be then, if you were my client, the statement would be, I am a successful entrepreneur. Because I don't really care what that looks like. You just get to believe it. You get to step into it. This is who
Okay.
you're going to be.
Okay.
So, yeah. And then the next question that I ask my clients is, what is working for you in your life? In other words, what are you happy about? What are you proud about? What's working in your life? So like in my life, I would say I have a great relationship with a man. I have great relationships with my boys. I have a house that I love. So this is all working in my life. So think about for a moment, what is working in your life? No, I didn't. If you want to pass this around. All right, when you're finished with that, then you get to go to what is not working in your life. So it could be a communication, it could be you're not happy with your weight, it could be anything, but what is it that's not working in your life? It could be business.
Say it again.
What is not working in your life?
In your life.
Yep. So what is not working for you? And when I say not working, it means like, what do you get to change to have a 10 out of 10 life? Because we all deserve a 10 out of 10. So there's something usually in someone's life that's not quite working for them the way they would want to work.
So is that what do you get to change?
Yes, because then we write affirmations for that, right? So if they tell me what's not working in my life is that, I was just thinking of an example of a client I have right now. It's a high school girl. She's very sad, but the only reason she's sad is because she has a relationship with her mom where she's an empath, she's kind of a supporter. Her mom's a real controller, and so they don't have communication. And she's sad about the lack of relationship she has with her mom. And so she would say, what's not working in my life is that I can't talk to my mom the way I want to talk to my mom. She's like always telling me what to do. I feel not good enough. So that would be the only thing that's not working in her life, because other than that, she's like this amazing volleyball player. She's got AP classes. She's great in school. She's got a lot of friends. Like, it's all working except this one thing. And so the affirmation would be, my mom and I, are great communicators. I'm able to use my voice. I open my throat chakra and talk to my mom. So those are the things, we're working on. But the things that is not working is that the communication is not there. So what's not working in your life? All right, and then as they tell me that, I tell them this is exactly what we're going to do. We're going to eliminate everything that's not working. We're going to break that down, and then we're going to build you back up and bring you to what does work in your life. We're going to make everything work in your life so that you have that version of you that you want to be and create a blueprint of how do you get there, right? Because I can't make it work, but you can have a blueprint of how do I make it all work, because everyone deserves a 10 out of 10. I say that all the time to my boys, like, you deserve a 10 out of 10 relationship, and don't ever forget that. And so what does a 10 out of 10 relationship look like to you? It's communication, it's understanding, it's loving, it's, empathetic, it's working together, it's all of these things. It could be something like, when I wrote my 10 out of 10 relationship, it was like, I wanted him to be fit, I wanted him to, spend time alone and spend time with me. I wanted him to be empathetic and understanding and enjoy time with my family and enjoy time, with his family. So I had like a whole list. And that's why I tell my boys is like, what is your 10 out of 10? And when you put it out there in anything, whether it's a relationship or in your life, you tend to get it when you bring that forward to you. So we get to help you create what is a 10 out of 10 life for you, because you all deserve it. All right. So then the next question I have is, what do you see when you get this, when you step into this version of you, this person? What does that look like 6 months from now? So let's say you've worked at it and you've changed some pathways in your brain and now you've achieved it. What do you look like? Who are you with? What are you doing? What are you wearing? What's different in your life? So what we all know is that we do life differently, right?
Could be feeling. Couldn't it?
Could be feeling, yeah. Because like when I wake up in the morning, I have my coffee and I do my devotions and I read my horoscope and I pull a few cards and I check my emails, I brush my teeth, I have my breakfast, I get my workout in. This is how I do life. But you probably do life differently. You might wake up and shower first, or you might wake up and brush your teeth first. And so we all do life differently. So what will your life be like? What will you be doing differently in your life? People will say sometimes, like, I'll wake up in the morning motivated to work out because I haven't done that in so many years. Or I'll actually wake up happy. Or I'll go to bed earlier. Or I will have, this or that. So how will you be doing life that's different than how you're doing life today? I'd say going on more vacations.
And not worrying about the credit card bill.
Right? Or just paying it off every time you got it, right? That's how you'd be doing life. Yeah. I think credit cards are a beautiful thing as long as you can just pay them off every month.
For sure, definitely. 100%.
Then they're your friends because you get airline miles.
Exactly. Amazon rewards.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
So just out of curiosity, do you have clients that just say general things like happy or feel better, and that's all they give you is the adjectives that are so hard to describe? Like, how do you help them if they...
You just keep asking questions. So why questions are really great, So if they say, I want to be happy, you could say, why do you want to be happy? So if I ask you, you say you want to be happy, I say, why do you want to be happy? How would you respond to that?
I guess I would say, then what's the point of living if I'm not?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So then you would be like, I want to be happy. And then you could be, I enjoy life, right? Or I'm living my life to my fullest. And then you're going to dig and you're going to ask questions like, I saw you were going to
Yeah,
say
no,
something.
okay, yeah, I was just going to say I'll be saying. So what I ask my clients is, you know, you come here. If I was to ask you this question, what do you want to feel? What do you want to feel like? And then they would say happy. You just said happy. And I said, and when you have happy, what will that bring you? So it's a when you have it. And what is preventing you from having that now? What is stopping you from having that already? And then what does happy look like to you? Because it's like, I know what my happy looks like. What does your happy look like? Everybody's happy is different.
Yeah. Right.
Everybody's successful is different. Everybody's whatever, you know, you said.
Yeah.
It's your talk.
Yeah, no, you're right.
But it's just like
Yeah.
everybody's different.
So it's like, what does that look
curious,
like?
Get curious.
So just keep asking the whys until you start getting more descriptive.
It's funny, I don't ask why. I don't ask why.
Oh, no?
No, the reason why I don't ask why is because I don't like being asked why.
Oh, interesting.
It is. Do you know what? If somebody asks me a why question, it immediately makes me feel defensive.
Oh, okay.
So it's like a questioning of me and my values. So I actually personally don't use a why question.
Okay.
It's, although I know it definitely has its place. And so it's like, but to me it's like, maybe it was because I've had it so much in my life as a
Sure, like a
so
trigger.
it's a trigger. And it's so for some people it's seen as them feeling as though they're
Being attacked.
being questioned.
Sure.
Like, why did you do that? Like a parent saying to a teenager, what did you do? You know, why did you spill the milk? Why did you do that? Why are you doing? What are you doing now? What? But that's the what. Why did you do that? You know, instead,
So
but it's
how do
the
you
tone.
reword
It's
it?
the tone, I think, that goes with it. So if you are asking a why question, then always make sure that your tone is so, and obviously yours is really gentle and caring and nurturing with it, as opposed to a why, like a
Right.
why,
Yeah, for sure.
Why haven't you got that already?
So you're not judgy. Yeah.
Yes.
Not feeling judged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that make
for
sense?
sure.
It does. I'm just trying to figure out how to get them to.
You could even change it up and say, what else do you want? Right?
Okay.
So if they say happy, you could say, what else do you want? And what does that look like? And then you could even ask the questions like I said, so what does that look like in your life? How do you do life? So right now, and sometimes I ask this, right now you wake up in the morning and what do you do first?
Go to the bathroom,
Okay, and then what do you do?
get a cup of coffee.
Okay, and then what?
Unfortunately, go to my computer.
Okay, and then what does the rest of your day look like?
Lately, it just kind of runs me, which I want to get back to, which I would probably bring this up of like grounding and getting outside first thing in the morning and drinking water. That's what I want to get back to.
Okay, so that's how your life would look differently, right? Would you be more happy if you did that?
Oh, for sure.
Okay, so there you go, right? So just asking them what are they doing in their life and what does it look like different when they're happy? And they'll say, you know, like I wake up and I feel happier, or I'm motivated. I hear this all the time. Like now I'm motivated to go exercise, or now I'm motivated to make healthy meals instead of grab junk food because I'm happy. So they'll give you more details on what it is, and then your statements can be things like, I am motivated to make a healthy meal every day. That's the statement. Now they get to work on that, and that's the version you're creating.
Okay.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right. What must you do that you don't want to do? Right? What's your answer to that, Sharon?
Everything.
So that's the big question, right? What are you avoiding? Or I always like this one, same, is what are you pretending not to see? Now you have to make sure you have a rapport with them before you ask that question. So the easier question is what should you do, or what do you have to do, must do that you don't want to do? But underneath that is, you know, what are you pretending not to see? In other words, what are you avoiding? And like if it's like let's say it's even a relationship, well, I'm pretending not to see that this is not a good place for me, you know, or I'm pretending not to see that my job is horrible and I don't want to be here anymore, you know, because you're kind of avoiding it You're pretending not to see it, but yet you know it's there.
Elephant in the room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then a good question too that helps to get answers is what's underneath that. So if they say, I'm feeling sad, you could just say, what's underneath that? And sometimes they don't really know what you're asking, but they're working to come up with something, and then they'll tell you, you know, or you say, they'll say, I can't stop eating carbs all night long. I'll eat healthy all day long, and then the night comes and I'll eat junk. Like I just want to eat junk. I can't stop. Instead of, you know, like, why do you do that? It's what's underneath that. And they'll be like, I don't know, because it tastes good. Well, what's underneath that? Well, I was rewarded as a child. What's underneath that? It makes me feel good to eat this because that was what my grandma gave me, and I miss my grandma. You know, what's underneath that? So that one's always a good question too.
I like that.
That's good.
And then I love to ask this question. When's the last time you felt, and you could say happy, right? When's the last time you felt satisfied? When's the last time you felt successful? So whatever it is that they wanted in those 3 questions, when's the last time you felt that way? Like, bring that back to them. And then they know, like, they can get there. They've been there. It's just a matter of getting out of where they're at right now, this place that they're stuck in. So I would love to hear if you guys have anything you'd love to share with questions that you ask to, you know, to just pull out of them what it is that you want, that you're working with them on.
Well, I always